Today, you're going to learn how to use the MorphSVG plugin to do this. Oh, and hey, I'd like to point out this video's awesome sponsor, Skillshare.com, which offers thousands of classes in design, coding, business, and more. For instance, you're about to watch my tutorial on animations, but you could watch this full course on CSS animations from Skillshare. Now, Skillshare is just $10 a month, but if you're the first 200 students to use my very exclusive link below in the description here on YouTube, then you get the first 2 months free. All right, so let's get started. Hey, what's up everybody? Gary Simon of Corsetro. So today we're gonna continue on with a GreenSock Animation Platform, and they offer a plugin called MorphSVGPlugin. All right, and one unfortunate thing about it is if you want to be able to use it within your own projects, you do have to be a member of their club GreenSock, and there's different membership types. You can check that out on your own. However, you can use the MorphSVG plugin if you fork one of their Codepen projects. All right, so that's how we're going to use it, and this is the project that we're going to make. We can see that we have an SVG graphic in here coming in, and we click this and it automatically morphs to an entirely different shape. And this plugin has a number of advantages over other different plugins that sort of do the same thing. And so that's why I'm going to go ahead and teach it today. What's really cool is you can create any number of shapes. They can have any number of different anchor points on them, and it will automatically figure out where to add those points. So it's really powerful in that respect. All right, so for today's question, what kind of mouse do you use? I'm kind of looking for a new one, so answer in the comment section here. Let me know what you think, and let's get started. All right, so the first thing I want you to do is to go to greensock.com/morphsvg as shown up here, and we'll see if you scroll to the very bottom, almost to the very bottom, to get your hands on MorphSVG plugin, yada, yada, yada. I already went over that briefly. What we can do is try this MorphSVG plugin for free here on Codepen. So I'm going to open up this link right here. All right, and I'm just going to click on the first one. And to be able to use it at least, we can just go ahead and click on fork. All right, there we go. So now if we go to settings, we'll see that, and go to JavaScript, we'll see we have Tween Max included here. You can also use Tween Light, I believe, with this. And also we see MorphSVG plugin is down here. All right, so I'm gonna close that. And let's get started with, before we get to this point, I want to open up Adobe XD. And that way we can go ahead and just, we have to create the actual SVG graphics here. So let's go ahead and get rid of that. All right, so the idea here is to start on the starting point and to design exactly what this SVG is going to look like, and then we'll export it. So the first thing I will do is just add some text just to give it a little bit of context. I'll say, let's see here, a new era has been born, something cheesy, and we'll use Montserrat, of course, and then let's see here, we will make it we'll make it red for now, but we're going to change that. Increase that size. We'll make the font weight bold. All right, and something like that. And make it just a bit larger. And maybe adjust the line height just a bit. Okay, and then I'll duplicate that, Control D, and I'll put in news today. We'll make this a lot smaller. Right around there. Okay, so now we'll take our pen tool and we'll create kind of like a little bit of a blob SVG graphic that will serve as kind of a background for this text right here. And the idea is once somebody clicks on a button, which I decided not to design here, there'll be a button right here. It will kind of just morph into the shape that you saw at the beginning of the video. So you know what, I may actually just do a quick element here. This will be a button. All right, I'm not really too concerned about the whole exact appearance at this part. So now I'm just going to take the pen tool and just draw it, left click and drag to some Bezier curves, and I could probably make these a little bit more smooth. Let's see here. holding shift here. And this is one of those things you can really experiment with. All right, something like that. This part's not too smooth, but yeah, you can. I'm not going to sit here trying to make it everything absolutely perfect. Yeah, whatever, something like that. All right, and then what we'll do is we'll take the, we'll make it a fill of red, and then I will get our layers out just so we could see how things look. All right, so this is going to be white, and this is actually going to be red with a white container, but I want this to move along quickly. This, of course, will be a button down here, kind of like that. All we're really focused on is that blob SVG graphics. Then we can take this and duplicate the artboard, Control D, and then we really, with this plugin, we don't have to really like restrict ourselves to a certain amount of anchor points on the SVG graphic. We could just start new entirely. So I could delete everything here, and then I can create any type of however I want this to transition. So I'm just going to start here, maybe like here, and then maybe here, like that. All right, so then again, we'll make the fill red. And then if you want, you can further make adjustments to this. Oops, did not mean to do that. There we go. That kind of looks bad up there. All right, something like that. Okay, so now we have our two shapes. And what we want to do, so obviously this shape, when this button down here is clicked, will transform into this shape here. All right, so what we'll do is make sure you go to your plugins and go to Discover Plugins, and you want to install the Copy SVG plugin. So if you type copy here, you'll see it right here. And mine's already installed. And you can access it through your plugins and then copy SVG code. Make sure you have the blob, the first blob selected. And for some reason, the output doesn't show up here. I think maybe, I mean, if you just paste, I'm not sure if it actually does that, but the it's Control-Alt-C. There we go. Now close, and it should be in our clipboard portion, so we could paste it. Now, one thing we could do now is we can go to, let's see here. Let me get the right thing up here. There we go. We're going to go to SVGOMG, which is a tool that will clean up your SVG, and there's a bunch of features with it. So this is the URL right here. I'll try to remember to link that in the description. Now I'm going to click Paste SVG Markup. All right, there we go. And I'm just going to position it around to where it was. And we could see that you have a ton of options here. So a lot are already toggled on, and I'm just going to leave that as such. So then I'm just going to copy as text right here. And then we're going to go to our HTML. Get rid of this canvas element. Now, first, before I paste that, let's get the simple HTML out of the way. So first, we're going to have a paragraph property here. And I'm going to make things a little bit larger so you can see them. We'll put in news today. We'll put our H1, which is a new era has been born. And then a button element that says see how or something. And then we'll go ahead and paste in this section right here. Now, if we go to settings and go to behavior, let's turn on auto updating preview, save and close. All right, so if I refresh this, okay, there we go. By the way, I'll get rid of this stuff, the the canvas and this. All right. So all right. So now what we're going to do is, let's see here. So we have our SVG element. We're going to give it an ID of shape 1. Although technically that's not what I should name it. I should name it something else, and you'll see why in a second. But that's how I had it when I started the project. The path ID here is going to be small. And then we're going to leave all this the same. It's good to go right there. Now we need the second path. So we're going to go to here. We're going to Control-Alt-C to get that plugin, hit close. Go back to our SVGOMG. We're going to go to paste markup, paste that. All right. Technically, I'm not sure if actually moving this around does anything. I just discovered this tool, but I decided, you know what, maybe if it does, I'm just going to do it. And I'll just copy that there. And then let's paste this one beneath it. The only thing we need is the path. And technically, I think we're going to use this view box setting right here instead of this one up here. That's only because that's how I had it set up from the beginning. I used that one first. And then I'm going to take this path and then omit everything else. So I copied the path. So now we have our path ID equals, let's see here, will be large. And then real quickly, large, we're going to set to visibility none. I believe it's none. No, it's not. Hold on with me. Hidden. There we go. I'm getting all these properties and values confused. There we go. All right. All right, so the SVG portion should be done. By the way, I'm going to get rid of all of that stuff there in the JavaScript section. All right, so our HTML is good to go. Our CSS now, I'm just going to copy and paste just some properties off screen. I'm not doing anything elaborate here. Setting padding to 12% on the body. Font family is Montserrat. Now, the padding, by the way, if you wanted this to be truly responsive, you would have to do some extra some extra work, because I'm not going to be messing with that. Introduces quite a bit more work. So then we're going to take our H1 element. All right, so we're just setting the color to white. Checks transform uppercase, margin 0. Nothing exciting there. We're also going to take, let's see, our button. The button has a bunch of properties just to get it styled correctly. Pointer there. There we go. So again, we're not doing anything too crazy. This is all that styled right there, all these properties. Nothing to do with the purpose of this tutorial. And then also our paragraph. And that's, again, nothing special. All right, now we have our SVG elements, and because we want them to reside outside of or beneath this stuff right here, we're going to set SVG and position absolute. All right. Then we're going to go ahead and take our shape 1, which is in reference to, oh, okay. Actually, we could just stick this right here. Sorry, my demo code was incorrect. So we're just going to set the width here to 100%. We're going to set the Z index to -1, and then also top 0 and left 0. All right, getting a little bit closer. All right, and then finally shape 2, which is the larger shape. We're going to say width 100%. All right, we can't see that yet because that one's hidden. All right, and then that's it for the CSS. Now let's focus on our JavaScript. All right, so first we're going to get our this element right here. We have to give this an ID though, and so we'll give that an ID of CTA for call to action, and we're going to say, let's see here, we'll get our click element. We'll just call it click element. Make things a little bit larger here, and then we're going to say document get element by ID, CTA. Also, we want to get our small shape, So small equals document.get element by ID as well, and that's going to be small. All right, and then to get this positioned up correctly, as we can see, top is 0 and left is 0. Once you make the positional changes in CSS on this path right here, I couldn't find a way to get them adjusted back, because obviously we need this to come down and be more representative of looking like this, where it's not like this, but it's like this instead. And I could not find a good way to do that where it would work, because then when we go to the second shape up here, we can see it needs to be top 0 and left 0. So the way I found to do it, and again, if I'm doing this incorrectly, if there is a way to do it without having to animate it, the X and Y, let me know. So here's how I got around that. We're going to call Tween Max.to. And again, if you don't know what Tween Max is, I have several tutorials in the last week or so where I cover Tween Max and Timeline Max. All right, so we're going to say 2. So we're going to take our small element, which is this guy right here, and we're going to say for a 1 second duration, we're going to say X, and X is obviously on the horizontal axis. We're going to say plus equals and 18% or so. Notice how it moves over. And then we're also going to say Y, and this is going to be plus equals 38%. So you should see it move down right around there or so. Now things are looking a little bit strange because I have the zoom set up at 150% at the moment, so just ignore, it's a little bit strange looking. And if we want to give it a custom ease, let's do GreenSock here. Let me get this up here. If you type in GreenSock ease, go to here. This will change how it animates in to make it a little bit more interesting. I think what I'll do is use elastic ease out. So we'll copy this value right here, or this property, and we'll paste it right there. There we go. Interesting. Okay, cool. So now we're going to say click element dot add event listener for click event. All right, we'll open that up, and we'll say Tween Max dot to small again. So this is only when somebody's clicked the see how button on 1 second duration. And here's where the MorphSVG plugin comes in. We say MorphSVG, and we are going to morph it from another path element, our SVG graphic, and it's going to be to our large ID, and that is right there. There we go, right here, the second one. All right, and then outside of there, we're going to reposition it to a negative of these, the opposite of these values, to push it back up to the left. All right, so I'm fairly certain there might be a different way to do that, so let me know in the comments if so. We'll put in negative equals 23, or wait, we'll just do 18 at first, percent. And then Y, we'll say equals negative equals and 38%. All right. We'll also add another ease, the power 4 ease out right here. So we'll just take this and we'll go back. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm gonna reset this, and let's click see how. And there we go. Now I don't like how it's to the very right of the browser. That looks kind of silly. So we can actually take this and maybe it's this X value to like 24%. And there we go. Now you can see the way we're positioning it. Let's save this and reload. It's down too far. So we could just take our Y which is at 38%. We could try maybe 28%. And that's quite a bit better, maybe 22%. And then let's see, we'll do, let's see here, negative 22 there. And there we go. Very, very, very cool. And if you wanted to, you could do like a toggle so that this would toggle between both. But if you click on it, you'll see what happens. It starts to really change up the appearance simply because we're changing from one element to another instead of reverting back to the original. But there you go. So that's one example of how you can use the MorphSVG plugin to transition between UI-based elements like this. Very, very cool. All right, so hopefully you found that useful. Make sure you answer today's question, which is what kind of mouse do you use or recommend? Let me know. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.